Well, guys, it's an absolute pleasure. I'm talking to The Haunted, and we have David, my co-host, and I'm talking to Ola Englund. Good evening from Australia, Olga.
Nice to meet you guys.
How you going, man? And you're coming to Australia very shortly for a tour, and you just released a brand new album out last year. It's absolutely crackerjack, but you're looking forward to come to Australia.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's not the first time for The Haunted, but it is actually the first time for me.
Yeah.
So I'm very much looking forward to it.
And you are a new guitarist in the band too. How did the transition manage to come across with you?
Actually, something I do is that I have YouTube videos where I try out guitar gear. And Jensen, the other guitar player, he saw a bunch of my videos, and basically he just gave me a call and asked me if I wanted to join his band. So it wasn't really more romantic than that, I would say.
I've got to ask, are you pleased with the report that you've been getting so far from the fans now that they accept you inside the band? Because when a new member comes into a band, especially like AC/DC, when Brian Johnson came in to replace Bon Scott, or when another member leaves the band, especially Kiss, when Ace Frehley left the band and they brought Vinnie Vincent, are you pretty surprised with the reception you've been getting from the fans that accept you in the band now?
I mean, I'm kind of pleasantly surprised, I would say. I mean, the reception has been really, really good. I mean, it's not like anyone has been complaining. So at least that they're telling me nice things, at least. I don't know what they think about me behind my back, though. But yeah, it's been good. And I mean, those are pretty large shoes to fill. I mean, replacing Anders Björler, and he's a legend in Sweden in a way with At the Gates and all that, you know.
Yeah.
The Swedish melodic death metal scene. So I mean, live I try to play his solos and his parts exactly like he would play them, to pay respect to him and to the fans of the earlier Haunted. So I think the fact that I do exactly like he would play his songs, I think people don't really. I think people just accept that I'm a new guitar player. I mean, I get to show my efforts and my leads and the new stuff, and I mean, I think they appreciate the fact that I'm playing the older stuff exactly like Anders would play them.
Well, Dave, I'll hand it over to you, man. You got a couple of questions, man?
Yeah, just wanted to ask you about the new album. Before you went in, did you have any preconceived direction you wanted to take the album in, or was it just go in and jam out and what just see what comes out?
Yeah, I mean, when Jensen called me the first time, he said like, "Yeah, we need to get the energy back into the band. You know, the energy from the first couple of albums." And I mean, I am a big fan of The Haunted. I mean, The Haunted Made Me Do It and the first album and all that. That's what I see as The Haunted for me. But I'm also a big fan of the Dolving era and, you know, the later albums and all that. So for me, I have had it pretty clear that, okay, we're going to show our energy with Marco back on the vocals, but still keeping the melodic stuff intact. So it's just a big fest of the previous Haunted, I would say. I mean, it's The Haunted, basically. Mm-hmm. It's fast, it's melodic, and it's we just want to kick people's asses live. So we have to make songs that kick people's asses.
Cool. To me, it sort of also kind of, when I listened to the album, it sort of also had a bit of that One Kill Wonder sort of feel to it as well, with some of the songs in and as heavy as that sort of album as well, which I really liked.
Yep.
Well, it's like this too, David and Ola. It's just like we have these golden era bands like Metallica and Megadeth that brought out great albums back in the 80s and early 90s, and then it kind of slipped off the radar a little bit due to the transitions of the music scene and the way that the music was going at that time. But I want to ask, do you think it was hard to get those fans that were hardcore fans that left the band due to that type of change of music style? Because the way I see it in the music business right now, especially being a fan, that if there's a low-par album to the fan standard, and then when a band trying to go back to that classic sound, it's so hard to recapture those fans back to the band again.
Yes. No, I totally understand what you're saying. I mean, we've all heard of the bands that, yeah, it's more like the first album or whatever. I mean, everyone says that. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, the reception for the album has been like, it's sort of like I think people see it as a sign of relief, really. Like, okay, back on track in a way. I mean, it's not a copy of the first album. It's not a copy of what The Haunted was when they released the first album. It was 1999. This is the new lineup Haunted, I would say. I mean, and the dynamics that we all bring into the songs and the music. Yeah. So, I mean, and I think a lot of people, it seems at least when we're out playing, that a lot of people are very happy and they see us in our return form in a way. And so I think fans are more forgiving for us, at least.
And just a great album that came out, because what I want to say, this is what Haunted is now. It's not the Haunted back in 99. This is what it is now, and it's a new approach, it's a new feel, it's a new energy. Even though that you're trying to recapture some type of moment from the past, but the past is the past, this is now. And if they can, and if they can both collide at the same time, all well and good. But this album that was out last year, I just want to ask, how long did that process for the band take along to get this album produced and the material on paper, then recording it for what it is?
Right. We actually started, as soon as Jensen called me, we started to work on material. I think I was when Jensen and Jonas was the only guys left in the band, I think I was the first one they called before they called Marco and Adrian to join back into the band. But we already started writing songs, and we all wrote on our own at our home. We don't live in the same towns, so we wrote on our own. Then we met somewhere in the middle of Sweden. We met and rehearsed, and we felt the songs when we played them together, and we went into each other's songs and changed them up so we added dynamics into each other's songs. And I think that's a reason why the album came out the way it did, because everyone was in touching everyone's songs, and just you can hear everyone's influence in all of the songs, rather than it being like this song is a Ola Englund song, this song is a Jensen song, or I mean, we've all been all over the place on this album.
And how have these songs been accepted live? Like when you play the new material live, how's the reception been coming from the band fans?
Very well. I mean, when they start singing the lyrics of the new songs, you know they've actually bought the album, which is a good thing, I would say. That's probably the best. How do you call it? The best kind of
feeling,
evidence that I feel that people are actually listening to the new stuff. They're not just coming out to watch us play the old songs.
I think the funniest thing about hearing new songs, especially the fans, if we mix up the words because we haven't heard it before, the band seems to follow along us, and we get the blame for it.
Exactly.
And that's happened plenty of times, David. You and I have been to gigs, and I messed up the words because I've heard it for the first time, and the band just followed along. Even a classic lead singer, Dave Gleason from the Screaming Jacks, looked at me one time and said, "Know the word properly, man." But yeah, I get it. But Dave, you got a question, man?
So, how long have you been sort of playing guitar for?
I've been playing since maybe like early 90s, something like that. And I remember hearing Walk by Pantera for the first time. And I was like, holy shit, what the hell is this? Like the most aggressive sound I've ever heard. Like, what the hell? What is that? Is that guitar? Okay, I need to pick up guitar. So, I mean, it's I've been playing since then, and I think I'm still considering Dimebag to be my biggest influence in everything I do in playing and just in attitude also. I mean, his attitude towards fans and towards other musicians, just people in general, and his view on life in a way. I mean, it's very inspirational for me. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of shredders out there that are great guitar players, but I mean, Dimebag had it all. Yeah. He had the shredding, he had a soul, he had a heart, and I mean, it's. I still think to this day that he's kind of untouched as a guitar player. I mean, not many people can climb up to his level. No. And I mean, he's basically still mine. You can definitely hear a fair bit of a Pantera influence on the new album if you pay attention. There's a song called Time Will Not Heal that definitely has that more of a Pantera groove going. So that's actually one of the songs that I like to play live the most, because it's such a. I mean, The Haunted is about the thrash and the melodic death metal, and that song really changes up the groove a bit and makes the show more dynamic. So
So that song's in the set at the moment, or?
Yeah, it is.
Cool.
It is.
Yeah. Well, you're coming to Australia with your label bandmates, Insomnium. Have you ever played with them before outside?
I never.
Yep.
No, I've never played with them, and I've heard them. I mean, for this billing package, I would say it's like a really good mix. I mean, they're very Scandinavian metal sounding, and we are as well. So I mean, it's actually a very good package of bands, I would say. Yeah,
because it's so great to see that not just the melodic death metal or melodic metal as a whole, or even metal, I should say, coming out of Europe right now. I just want to ask, what do you think is so strong at the moment, especially in Europe, that the music that coming out of Europe, whether it be melodic metal, symphonic metal, glam metal, whatever, is so supportive in Europe than it is in some other countries, like, for instance, Australia? Sometimes we pick and choose who we want to follow. But I just want to ask, why is it so strong?
I think because Europe actually has some kind of credibility to it. I mean, at least in Scandinavia, we have it kind of easy because everyone thinks that, there's some mystery around Scandinavia and, dark winters, and they're for real when they have their black or death metal band. They have blood on stage. I mean, it's more mysterious, and I think we have a credibility that makes it a lot easier for people to actually start listening to this or this band from Europe or Scandinavia. I mean, today the industry is so saturated with bands that, I mean, it's hard to reach out if you're a new band. So I mean, people are kind of clinging on to these old-fashioned things, like that there is a mystery around black metal, and there's a history with the death and black metal and Scandinavian. I think people still like that sort of stuff, rather than just seeing this Facebook band that never plays live and like, come here, check out my band. I mean, it's a weird industry today.
Yeah, it is.
In that sense.
It is, and it just goes to show, I mean, we saw Sept last time for the first time in 40 years that they've been around. In Australia. They have never been to Australia before.
Oh, wow.
The great thing about that was the promotion that we did along with the band and the promoting. Like, we had a team that helped promote it and helped spread the word out, word of mouth on the street, blah, blah, blah. And that was almost a sellout. But then you have some other bands on the label that very limited promotion, and it is a bit of a hit and miss. And I don't just say that here in Australia, I say that all around the world. And you're right, when these new bands coming up, it's so hard for them just to get on a bill nowadays.
Just to get people to actually listen to them.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, music all over is free right now. I mean, if you wanted to. So it's like, okay, come listen to my band. Okay, no, I don't have this short. I have a pretty short attention span. So no, I'm not going to listen to your band. I mean, it's super hard. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah, and
it's hard.
Go along with this point is that I'm sick and tired of the radio. I'm talking about mainstream radio here. Don't play these bands, especially Triple M here in Australia. They won't play heavy metal. Well, they used to, but they won't.
Well, they did.
Yeah, they won't play. They won't play Iron Maiden, or they won't play Megadeth, in a certain hour of time. But on the drive home from work, you won't hear it. And I'm sick. I'm sick and tired of these media outlets are supposed to be supporting a tour, but yet they don't play their stuff. And it makes me laugh to say, really? You're supposed to support...
But I can definitely see that dilemma is kind of all over Europe as well. I mean, radio stations are shit, basically. They're dead, basically.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're not worth anything. At least for me. I mean, I never listen to radio anymore because there's nothing I can listen to. I mean, there are metal stations out there, but they've totally changed. And I mean, what songs they're playing. I mean, it's not metal when you play, whatever was it that I heard the other day. Oh, well, you know, my wife listens to metal, but she listens to the radio metal, which is, according to me, is not metal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard.
Well, the good thing about our show, when we started, Dave and I had a rule. There's no rules in metal. When it comes out, we play the bloody thing. Sorry for the French. Good. But the thing is...
that's good to hear.
The fans got to hear it. And I'm surprised that the younger fans are starting to pick up and are starting to turn full circle again. And what they really want is the vinyls as well. Not just the singles off iTunes. They want a physical copy in their hand. And that's a good thing.
I mean, that's a good thing. That I think that differs the metal communities to the other communities is that there is such a strong bond between a metalhead, all the metalheads, really. So even if there is a lot of support in between bands and it is hard and saturated on the market, I mean, I think it would be even worse in like the hip hop market. But I have no idea because I'm not in it. But I mean, everyone's still supportive, and in between bands, everyone's supportive, and I mean, it's a really good community right now.
It is.
Even if it's saturated and it's hard for bands to reach out. But I mean, there's never been easier to be seen or heard today, like 10 years ago. And today you have Facebook, you have social media. People will listen to you. Problem is that there are too many bands. So it's a different problem than it was 15 years ago.
Yeah. Well, fans, we're running out of time. If you haven't got your tickets for The Haunted, please get them now. They're coming here in May. There's only 3 dates, one in Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne. Get them at metropolistouring.com or get them at the venues where they are playing. Ola, it's absolutely awesome for having you, and we'll talk very shortly soon.
Thanks for having me, and I'll see you in May.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, guys.
See you, Ola.
Okay, see ya. See ya.